did together for Children's Wish, celebrity bartending. That was a big thing back in the day. That was for the Hearts of Durham, was it not?
You were in the service industry for a while, and you've worked your way all the way up now to being an owner. What's that journey been like for you? Did you ever think you were going to end up finally at the top of the chain?
Top of the chain in this way? No. I was a manager working for other people, running their business. And between Matt and I think we've got about 40 years experience in the industry.
But cancer is definitely something near and dear to me. And, let's be real, everybody. We need a cure.
Yeah.
We need these funds to do something.
Absolutely.
So
no question
I can't wait. I think we're going to have a really good time. I don't know. I mean, we do kind of like to do a little bit of this and this and this.
One more.
Although
I could talk to her.
I was watching Celebrity Jeopardy yesterday, and I think they get off the hook a little bit.
Oh. Yeah, okay. Maybe I'll be on that one.
No, you walk away feeling
we'll work.
I'll be on that one. That reminds me, you and I did together for Children's Wish, celebrity bartending. That was a big thing back in the day. That was for the Hearts of Durham, was it not? Was that not something that one of their charities 1 year?
We followed the Ian McCutcheon playbook from Community Living. And what it's meant to do is instead of being able to raise $10,000 at one go, you have 10 smaller events, hoping to raise $1,000 per time. And then you are able to write the check for $10,000, which we did. And we wrote that check to Roxanne Sarah at Hearts of Durham and Sean Gibson, and they're absolutely fantastic. And then their organization directs where to put it to. And of course, that year it went to ALS.
That's right.
Because Roxanne's mother had ALS.
Yes, that's right. That's incredible. That's just some of the things. And we're all going to be involved in another charity by our friend Ian as well.
Shout out Ian.
Shout out Ian. Yeah, you're the great Canadian boy. And what's he?
Oh, he's top notch, top shelf, A1. Ed Lamb.
Maybe this will be one episode that Ian, you actually watch. Because I keep sending them to him and I'm not sure he's been watching.
Oh, just tell him he's been mentioned.
Yeah, he's been mentioned. Oh, yeah, he'll watch.
Yeah, well, if you're going to see him
So it's the third weekend in January, if I'm not mistaken. June. Oh gosh, listen to me. And I think this is his 36th year. He raises money for the Canadian Cancer Foundation.
36th, 37th for sure.
Yep.
And the origin story behind it is unfortunately his father, George, passed of cancer too long ago, essentially 38 years ago. And Ian was a young guy at the time, and he just got together with 8 of his friends, and they played golf.
Yeah.
It wasn't a tournament, but then they said, okay, we're going to get together next year. We're going to do it again. We're going to make it an annual thing. So I think for the first 3 or 4 years, it was not a tournament. And then they said, wait a minute, we got something here. It started to grow. I think it went from 8 to 12 to 16, as things often do.
Yeah.
And then Ian had the idea. He reached out to the Canadian Cancer Society and said, would you guys be interested in receiving a check every year? And they said, well, of course we would. And now, all these years later, it was in Tweed for a long time. And then that golf course got sold.
Yes.
I think it was the Tweed something, can't remember. And then now it's hosted at Trillium in Belleville. And I have to say, the tournament's so much better being in Belleville.
Agreed.
You're in civilization.
Yeah.
Did you go in the Tweed days?
But we do love our people that watch from Tweed.
Oh, of course, yes.
Sorry, Tweed.
But yeah, but it is true. Like where you stayed, there wasn't as many accommodations and so forth. But I'm looking forward to this one. If anybody does want to donate, I know that they're looking still for silent auction items. So you can donate that way. You can also e-transfer or rate to the Canadian Cancer Society. You can send a donation in behalf of this tournament. So again, I'm all for as much fundraising as possible, but cancer is definitely something near and dear to me. And, you know, let's be real, everybody. We need a cure.
This season of This Crazy Life Hey. Well, this season of This Crazy Life podcast is being powered by Angelo's Butcher Shop. Mom, what can you tell us about them?
That's amazing. Angelo's Butcher Shop. Listen, who doesn't like a good steak?
Oh, we do.
It's patio season. Let's bring it, right?
Yeah.
What an incredible butcher Angelo is. He's located on Brock Street in Whitby under the Bellinata restaurant. You name it, he's got it. Everything you can imagine, he produces. Incredible quality. Austin, we get all of our
meat we've been getting
from
him
Angelo
for years.
And a huge shout out. We are so honored to be featuring you, Angelo, on our podcast. And thank you for powering us for season 2. Angelo's Butcher Shop. We're going to have all the information below, right here. Reach out to him. You will not be disappointed. Can you believe it?
No, I cannot. It's a big deal. Thank you very much once again, Angelo.
Fantastic place.
For powering this season.
Yeah. So you know what, kid?
What?
Let's get into it.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
We need these funds to do something.
Absolutely.
So
no question.
I can't wait. I think we're going to have a really good time. I don't know. I mean, we do kind of like to do a little bit of this and this and this.
We do it.
Hey, all right. Sorry, everybody. My son, the non-drinker here.
You're hanging in, Austin. I'm
all right.
impressed.
So, Austin, I know there was something that you wanted to bring up with Matt.
Yeah. So going back a little bit to, again, just more things that you've really done for our family. One subject that we've talked about multiple times on this podcast was my struggles with mental health. And there was a period of my life where, again, we've been over this, but just to recap, that I was in a very deep depression.
Yep.
And I needed a lot of help. And again, friends, family, all along, you guys included, you were all very, very supportive of me during that time. One thing I wasn't as aware of until recently was that while I was going through this, my mom needed a lot of help sort of processing things herself. And she told me that you were actually a major factor in helping her through all of that.
Wow.
It's true.
Thank you.
It's true.
Humbling.
Yeah.
And certainly you don't do things to help friends for a thank you, but I appreciate it. If memory serves, Tara, you reached out to me. You were going to speak to somebody above the Whitby Mall about Austin's situation.
Durham Mental Health Association. Yes.
And you reached out and asked me if I would go with you, and of course the answer was yes.
Well, actually, it was a little different.
Okay.
I told you I was going, and you said, who's going with you? And I told you that I had asked someone, and they said no. Right. And you said, I'm there. You are not doing this alone. And you came. And the interesting thing about it is I don't know how I would have got through that appointment without you, because I went in and the director was there, Debbie. She greeted us there because she had said, I need you to come right away as opposed to waiting for a group. And then right away, I'm in Austin mode. This is what's going on with my son. And I became, okay, what do we got to do to help Austin? You were right by my side. And it really did become all about Austin. And I remember I stopped for a moment and I was overcome. And you spoke up and you said, Tara's doing a really good job at talking about her son. But what we need is we need help for Tara. And you were right. You were right. And it would have been easy for me during that appointment even though when I said in our episode, when we talked about this, I went there because I knew I needed support. I needed to know what the right things were to say and the wrong things in helping my son not to want to die. But once I got in there, it was very easy to be consumed about what's the best help for my son. And then you put yourself, right? And you, Matt, recognized that right away. And you were like, okay. But Tara, and you said to me, tell her about some of the things you're going through. Because when Austin was in the shower, I would be banging on the door. You know what I mean? And that I'm so eternally grateful. And when I explained that to Austin, which was right around the time the episode aired,
yeah,
I'm like, I couldn't have gotten through that without you. Mm-hmm. And that's your love of our family. Both your loves of our family.
To be a small part or resource, I appreciate the kind words. I'm glad I was able to be there. It was the only place I would have been. And, you know, we all go through life experiences for the first time. That was my first time being in a room like that and having those types of dialogues. But
Same, yeah.
Well, you never hope you'll end up there, but you never know.
And if I recall, we went and had a cold drink at
I think we had a few.
Melanie Pringles afterwards. Yeah.
Probably well earned.
I'm sure, yeah.
Probably earned.
Sure, yeah. But I know that you really wanted to thank Matt for that.
Absolutely,
it was
like, listen, I've said it before. I'll say it again. That I consider to be the worst year of my life, but I got through it. I had a lot of help from a lot of people. Mm-hmm. You were obviously like the number one person behind me to help lift me back up. But in that moment, it's sort of all-consuming, so it honestly didn't register with me what kind of help you were getting.
No, of course not.
To get through it. So,
and I wouldn't have wanted you to worry about that either.
Yeah, but
right?
But I am obviously extremely grateful to know that she did have a support system with her. And honestly, with everything we've been through together, I really shouldn't have been surprised that it was you.
Well, you know what? I remember
guys.
calling you and saying, but it's one of those really strange times when, you know, I really needed your permission to even tell people, and we talked about that. But, you know, those are the little things that I think it's really good for our viewers to know as well, that, you know, there's some good people in our lives, and we really do appreciate the two of you so very, very much.
Well, to your viewers, and I just have to share, you know, the reciprocation of friendship that I've got from you, particularly over the years. You know, you've been my friend, you've been my confidant. I've had my ups and downs, tremendous ups and downs, and you've been there with me, supportive. You know, you've held my hand. You have seen me at my best. You've seen me at my worst. You've helped me through 3 campaigns, 2 unsuccessful, finally 1 successful. But, you know, the reciprocation of friendship has always been there, T. I'm glad I was able to support both of you. But at the end of the day, you've done the same for me.
Oh, well, that's what friends do, right? So speaking of that, you do have a political side to you. Do you want to share with everybody? I mean, I don't know if you're going to run again. I mean, I'd be willing to lose another 20 pounds if that door knock, because it was door knocking every day.
Fortunately, there's not another election until 2026.
Oh gosh, I'll be in a wheelchair
there's
by then.
time.
You'll wheel me.
But sure, I'll touch on it briefly.
Yeah.
I first ran for politics in 2014. You and I were obviously already good friends at that time. You helped me. Many people helped me, my parents particularly. I ran unsuccessfully. Lost by 202 votes to Chris Leahy. Decided to run again in 2018. Ran even harder. The hardest my 3 elections, the second
was a lot.
By far the hardest I've worked. Same thing, you, my parents, and many other friends. Kyla was living with me then, and certainly supportive.
We door knocked every day.
There were arguments. There was fatigue. There was all sorts of things going on. But remember, in 2018, we started the tradition of going to the Legion afterwards.
So much fun. Saturdays.
Shout
Best
out
day
Kim.
ever. Shout out Kim. Oh gosh, you got to be there. The Whippy Legion. Got to do it.
And then I lost that election, unfortunately, by 105 votes to Deidre Newman, and then decided to give it one more shot. And if I had lost, it was over, because you really don't want to embarrass yourself by losing a fourth time or third time into a fourth time. And was able to win by a convincing 400 votes, received 3,000. I had a really, really good opponent after me. Her name was Lori Lopes, and she pushed me to the edge and luckily was able to succeed this time. And Kyla and I decided not to go to town hall to watch the Monday returns.
It was an oak. It was an oak one.
Because the previous two elections, you and I had been at town hall together.
Ian was with us one year as well.
Roxy was with us once. And of course, it didn't go our way. So we had in 2022, we had a nice celebratory party. We didn't know whether we were going to win, but we were going to have a celebratory party anyway. Because either it was going to get on council or the end of it entirely. And then, of course, we got there, and now I've been on council for a year and a half, and it's been a great experience.
You're enjoying it? How are you enjoying being the significant other of a counselor?
I've gotten really, really good at taking group pictures of all the counselors.
There's a lot. It's so funny. Everybody, you can, for those in Durham, if you want, or follow Matt on your Facebook page. There is a lot of a social aspect to it, right? With group pictures. It is phenomenal to me how many things that you do have to attend.
There's always a cause attached to it or a reason for them all lining up and asking somebody to take that photo.
Yeah.
But there's parts of Whitby that I wouldn't have known existed. There's charities I wouldn't have known about. There's events I wouldn't have known about being from Ottawa and be about 6 years I've lived here now and through his
holy smoke.
His political track. Hey now. I'm trying to pay you a
compliment. Did you hear that? I didn't think you could hear that.
Did he say that out loud?
I was
right
talking
into the
to
microphone, my
but
guy.
you guys look great together in those pictures. And I maybe we'll touch on it a little bit. Not that we want to go too political, but is there anything interesting coming up in Whitby that you want to do a shout out to or anything on the horizon that you think is going to really be a great thing?
Well, as we're sitting here, the Brooklyn Spring Fair is on right now, which is
well known.
I think it's in year 113.
Oh, stop.
I actually made a funny joke to MPP Lauren Coe yesterday. I think I said, so Lauren, you start coming at the 4th annual Brooklyn Spring Fair. We had a funny laugh.
True story.
Well, Lauren's got a great sense of humor, and I like to joke around, so keep things light. But next Thursday, we've got the West Ward Town Hall, which I'm looking forward to co-hosting with Councillor Steve Yamada.
And that's where everybody's invited, am I correct?
That's right.
Yeah, and that's a great opportunity.
We're presenting West Ward residents with what's happening in the community, including things like traffic calming, crime in West Whitby, the 2 new schools that are going to be built by the province, new fire department, et cetera, et cetera. And then beyond that, we've got the normal events throughout the summer. We've got a big one coming up for us. I'm the mayor's designate on the board of directors for the Whitby Yacht Club, one of our favorite places. They've got their sail past and blessing of the fleet coming up.
Oh, great.
So I'm excited to be down there.
Oh my gosh, how nice.
It's awesome. We don't have a cottage and we want to buy a boat, but really that group down there, they're special people. Yeah. It's a great little community. People don't realize that it's open to the public because it's gated. That's just to keep certain people out. But I encourage everyone to check out Whitby Yacht Club. It's fantastic. And the members are incredible. They've welcomed us now since 4 years ago. And we feel like part of their family.
Yeah.
And that's pretty special. So, it's going to be a great summer for Whitby, as it always is. And, looking forward to being a small part of it.
Oh, that's amazing. So exciting. You got anything else, kid?
Well, I actually wanted to cover one last little thing. Obviously, anyone who's watched This Crazy Life, you guys included, know that we do like to keep things fun on here. So first, Kyla, I just want to ask you, bringing things back to the Oak and the Ale for a little bit.
Yeah.
You were in the service industry for a while, and you've worked your way all the way up now to being an owner. What's that journey been like for you? Did you ever think you were going to end up finally at the top of the chain?
Top of the chain in this way? No. I was a manager working for other people, running their business. And between Matt and I think we've got about 40 years experience in the industry, nearly that. So we've both been doing it for a really, really long time. But like I mentioned to you at the beginning of this, it's a completely different beast when you're doing it for yourself. Every bit of information I learned and gathered along the way, whether it was for the Royal Oak in Ottawa, or I was with Lone Star for 10 years between 2 locations.
Right.
And I latched onto everything they taught me, 2 phenomenal companies that you can definitely learn a lot from if you're willing to pay attention, and I was. And again, when this opportunity came in to buy out the Ottawa partners for the Oak and Ale, it just made sense.
Right.
Not to toot, but we're both pretty good at what we do, and to be able to do it for ourselves, it was an exciting opportunity.
Oh, absolutely. Now, one thing that we found that people have responded to very well in these podcasts is my tales from the service industry, as it were.
Your stories.
Now
Episode 9.
Now that being said, my perspective has always come from, the person who's in the kitchen or at the dishwasher. So what I want to throw to you guys for one last little fun ride is... Have you got any crazy stories from the service industry? Some wacky things that have happened to you?
And you don't have to name names.
Okay.
You could just say
people can stay
situations.
anonymous. Yeah, absolutely.
You've probably, as owners, as managers as well, you've probably seen a lot of ridiculous situations unfold. Fights.
There's fights. I mean, we've seen fights. We've seen proposals in the restaurant, which always sort of gets me why anybody would want to. Nothing wrong with it. If you want to get down on a knee in a pub, go. Maybe that's a special place for the 2 of you. But
I've yet to see a proposal.
To my future husband, whoever you may be, no. Just kidding.
At Lone Star, somebody had, this was back in the day where you were wearing the cowboy hats and there was checkered tablecloths and cowboy boots and everybody had a name and it was yeehaw this and go down that.
Theme, yeah.
Absolutely. They had the staff get together and create the birthday songs that Lone Star is famous for doing.
Oh, yeah.
They had the staff create a Will You Marry Me song. So they were all in on the proposal that happened in the Lone Star dining room.
That's quaint.
Chips and salsa on the ground. It was...
Opa.
What happens if she says no?
Oh, my goodness gracious. We didn't have a song for that.
What about you, Matt? Have you, in your experience, was there one thing that happened in your pubs that you were like, this is over the top?
I would just go back to any St. Patrick's Day.
Well, I'll tell you, your establishments are always well attended on Patty's Day, right? St. Patty. Let's be real.
When we used to do the tent on the patio at Oak North, and we would have Two for the Show playing, and of course, I think they're Durham's most renowned band, and they've been doing it for 25 years. Shout out Two for the Show, Rob and Al. And I hope the fire department's not listening to this, but we were...
Oh, what a good start.
We would be over capacity, I think.
Yep.
I didn't do the numbers, so if I had to swear on a Bible, I wouldn't be 100% sure. But we had a lot of people in those rooms, and just shout out to the staff for managing those situations where it's chaos, and you've got a full inside, a full tented patio. And as Austin, as you know, the ebb and flow of the industry is in the summertime when you're used to the volume. Yeah, you're used to the volume, right? But when it's winter and you haven't had those, as we call it, asses in seats for a long time, right? And you've got to go from your pace goes from a 5 to a 10. Yeah. It's a challenge, and the staff at the North particular, they've had to do that transition, that shift, right? And they've done it absolutely fantastic over the years. So
how do you prepare them from your slowest time of year to, okay, in the next 24 hours, you may want to, you might not even like this job after the end of that day.
Well, as I got a little older, I transitioned out of working them myself because I'd felt I'd earned my stripes, but I had the knowledge. So 2 weeks, 3 weeks leading up, I'd say, guys, you know what to expect. The weather doesn't matter because we have the tent.
Right.
So this is what's going to happen. Here's the script. I need you to handle it. And they did, because they have a high SHIT level. Yep. And they knew that it was a good day to earn income for themselves as well. And they did a fantastic job. But just at the end of the day, it's the people that you're at capacity, you're holding them at the door, and they're just getting upset. Like, what do you mean I can't
yeah.
come in? There's 100 people in there. Yeah, and we're not putting in
We're not
101,
doing
102.
Yeah.
This is what we were talking about in one of our episodes was, you can be doing the best job after, but it's just never good enough for some people, right?
Oh, no. And especially when it's those things where it's like people, like you said, people complaining about, oh, what do you mean there's nowhere to sit? It's like, oh, I'm sorry. I'll will another table into existence to satisfy you.
Let me have a group of 20 leave so you too can come in.
For sure.
I think you guys touched on it too when you talked about it, that before the pandemic, things were what they were. But during that time, everybody had their own struggles and they all had their own stuff that they were dealing with. But for whatever reason, folks that serve people took the brunt of it. It could have been the person checking you out of the grocery store. It could have been anybody. It was just you were collecting all this frustration from everybody. And I remember coming home one day to him. I was upset. I'd had a bad day. People were being unkind. And I was upset because they were also screaming at my 16-year-old, 17-year-old hostess. And I'm saying, like, it's one thing to yell at me, but to take it out on this child. And he had to kind of be like, it's also not okay for them to do it to you. It doesn't matter how old you are.
Yeah. No, it's true.
It's also not okay. Yeah. And I think also what Matt touched on is important for, like, it gets busy and it can be really tough to be ready for that, especially around March, where you've probably had the 2 slower months of the year. But it also helps when you have a boss who will sort of get you in gear, get you motivated, feel ready. Like, there have been times where it's like been a really busy night coming for me. We're not really ready for it. And I'll be handed a list of reservations and a hearty good luck.
You'll figure it out. You got this.
And I'm going to go home and drink a beer and don't call me.
So when it feels like, the management, the owners actually have your back, I know that's a really motivating factor for the people that are in there in the thick of the grind.
Do you guys find with your because you kept your existing establishments, even though now they're your new own independent, do you find it hard still? Because I know after COVID, it became very difficult to keep staff or get staff. Are you seeing a change with that, or is it still a struggle?
It's a challenge. I say COVID did a number on culture.
Yep.
And as you know, the Oak staff, we referred to ourselves as Okies. Mm-hmm. And those folks really lived it. And they believed in what the Oak was selling. They believed in the 5 pillars of the business.
Right.
And a lot of them moved on during COVID because they wanted to make some money and pay their bills. Understandably so.
Yeah.
But the reload of staff, they're really good. They're really good. They do care, but it's not that same level of buy-in. And maybe it's because there hasn't been enough time.
Yep.
But I have to say that the new staff are quite good. They give great service, but I have noticed just a shift in that cultural battle to have them buy in, because as you know, over the decade that you've been supporting the Oak, those folks would have gone through the wall for the Oak. And
1,000,000%.
And for themselves too.
Yep.
I mean, at the end of the day, they're making their gratuities, they're paying their bills, their mortgage, their car payments. And, we've really enjoyed those friendships. And, you look at Carolyn at the North, she's been with us for 14 years.
Good Lord, eh?
Amazing.
Yeah.
Crystal at the North, been with us for 12 years. Yeah. Kate Richmond, who transferred from a Royal Oak in Ottawa, has been with us over a decade. Like, that is an amazing thing. And if you ever have to pass a litmus test in yourself, whether you're doing a good job and whether you're creating an employment atmosphere which people are going to enjoy, I take some solace in knowing that those folks have stayed with us for so long. Yeah. Especially under the hardest of times, certainly, which is COVID.
That and being your friend during those times, both your friends, we got to see, and of course I would share it with my boys, just how directly affected the service industry was with our lockdowns. And you were always really good at we would check in together, how are you doing? What's going on? And remembering when you could open, but you could only do takeout. And then it was, okay, let's get the word out there. We got to get everybody ordering takeout. There were so many things that people could do and did do, because there was a whole drive in Whitby including, and I was part of it, to buy gift certificates ahead of time from you, even when you were closed, so that when you could open and do takeout, like it wasn't just, everybody really tried to pitch in to help the establishments, right?
Yeah.
And I've noticed as a society, and I'm hoping it'll change soon, I'm still seeing some of that behavior still happening today, where I don't think we're as a group as carefree as we were prior. I think there's
Definitely
still a
not.
little bit of walls in people, and I see that even with the people in real estate, where they're more would you say guarded? Would you say, or just it's just different?
Yeah, I wouldn't call it guarded. To me, isn't the right word. But different. You're hitting on it with different. It's not the same.
Are we just not quite recovered yet?
20% of folks that used to attend restaurants prior to COVID have not returned. So that takes
that large a number?
1/5 of your old client base.
Wow.
Now, this could be folks that came once a month, twice a year, but
still.
during surveys, and of course, CP24 was great at cranking up the COVID factors or the COVID data for that period of time, and people needed to know, and I get that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is said I'd have to look up the resource or the source itself, but yes, that's, to my understanding, is 1/5 of regular pre-COVID restaurant patrons have not returned.
Right. Unbelievable to me. But thankfully, no more, put it out there in the world, no more pandemics,
crossed.
no more lockdowns.
Well, and I'd be remiss with the opportunity to do so, and thank you, that the community in Whitby, absolutely phenomenal. Takeout only, I'm telling you, you're in tears, you're scratching your head, sleepless nights for weeks, not knowing whether you're going to survive in your family business is just going to be gone.
Right.
And then you take some solace in the fact that, wait a minute, I need to get up with a smile on my face and get to work, takeout only, because this community is keeping us going. Without the community, Whitby Shores for the south, and of course, Central and North Whitby for the north, it was an absolutely phenomenon to watch.
It was pretty cool.
Whitby kept us open and obviously continues to keep us open. But having the opportunity on this podcast, I want everyone from Whitby listening to know that we thank you from the bottom of our hearts.
Yeah, I agree. I remember as part of the community group, this is how far that they went. For those that wanted to have takeout, some people even volunteered to deliver it in order to make sure that the funds went to the Oak and the people got their meals, right? So what an amazing world we live in. There are good people out there. I just have one question Austin, I call myself a regular. I might be I'm their friend, they're best friends. We're best friends. Regular of the previous Oak and Ale, although we do live an hour away now. But your menu, are you going to be making any name changes on anything on the menu?
Do we need to add some new names?
So, when I, was
related?
there on launch day, and then of course we did our Mother's Day lunch there, which it was amazing. I did kind of look down the drinks section.
And something was missing.
I didn't see the Tartini. I did not see the Tartini.
Our summer cocktail menus are just
coming?
about to go to print. We might have time for an edit. We'll have to ask.
Now, for your listeners, what exactly is a Tartini?
Well, we're going to have to go way, way back because it's a little bit of everything, isn't it? It's a little bit of everything.
It's a Smirnoff Ice. It's banana liqueur. It's sourpuss raspberry.
Well, that might have been
vodka.
when I was 16.
That's a lot going
Yeah, it was a
on
lot.
there.
Yeah, we're going to have to get that recipe.
With an orange slice, a lemon slice, a lime slice. Yeah, in a Stella glass.
I'll even take a cucumber if you want to throw that in there too. Yeah, but that's good. I know that Andrew and Nicole knew you were coming on, and a big shout out as well.
Of course.
You hosted their engagement party there and supplied the band, which was amazing. You guys did inspire us because, as I said at the beginning of this episode, I get a picture from either you or you. Every Tuesday morning when I wake up, there's a picture on my phone of you guys watching the episodes when they drop.
Yep.
So with your inspiration, we are now, and it's actually, to be honest, Austin, it's not even just them. We've actually gotten a lot from you guys, but other
people, yeah.
subscribers have sent us pictures of them watching the episode as well. So we're here now. Shall we just launch it?
I say let's go for it. Let's do it.
See how generous we are?
Extremely.
I mean, we gave away 2 prizes today.
Yep.
For Father's Day, really.
Little Jimmy.
And now we're launching our own specific community group. And this is what we want from our viewers. Do you want to tell them, Austin?
Well, you, our generous viewers, hereby formally known as our Crazy Lifers.
Our Crazy Lifers community group.
There is something we want from you, Nay. Something we need from you.
That's right.
We want you to send us your pictures of yourself watching our podcast.
Oh, I love this.
Can just be you holding a nice little wine glass.
Oh, that would work.
Can
we've
be
done
you
that.
watching with friends, you watching yourself.
Your animals?
Your animals, exactly. Anything at
Anything.
all.
Anything goes here, Austin. Matt and Kyla, anything.
Yep. You can send it to our Instagram. You can send it to Twitter. You can send it to our Facebook group. Links will be in the description below. And at the end of every single episode, we will feature a couple of those pictures that we find especially charming.
We're going to give a shout right back out. And you know, maybe what we'll do is maybe once we get a good collection of them, we'll put the names in a hat and we'll do another giveaway. Maybe.
That's a wonderful idea.
Well, you can count the Oak and Ale in for another donation of a prize because
Absolutely.
you guys have done such a great job, and it's a great segue. Us being here in season 2, watching your journey, we're very proud of both of you, and to see the evolution of episode 1 to the series finale to season 2, and I just made a brief list of some of the highlights for me personally.
Oh, drum roll.
Is it a top 10 list?
There's a bunch here, but because there's a lot to
Okay.
choose from. But like episode 1 opening up, talking about Carl Weathers. Like, I'm a huge Rocky fan, and Action Jackson, and his work on Billy Madison. Like, just that was so random, but I was like, this is great. Let's talk about some pop culture.
Yeah.
You guys playing Donkey Kong together was a hoot. T,
I wish I won.
We were
Not even-
Honestly, that was bullshit.
not
Okay?
even close.
Not even
Okay.
close. Oh my
Okay.
God. Fixed. He fixed it, I'm sure.
Talking about Austin's voice acting was a lot of fun. And the first time you brought it up, he had a cold, so he couldn't do the
Yes.
voices. But later on, a few episodes later, he did his voices.
And he has more, Matt.
I
More is
cannot wait.
coming.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. Okay.
Your sports episode. Austin sharing that kind of
Yep.
jerk coach that
Yep.
said, we don't really need you on the team, but him going and trying it anyway,
Don't come back.
for sure. You guys playing your favorite songs together, your favorite movies together.
Those are good
Ooh,
ones.
name that tune.
And of course, you guys sharing about your cancer journey,
Yep.
Austin's mental health journey, and I think your viewers would have absolutely got as much out of that as you were meant to, because awareness is such a huge thing, of course, right?
Yep.
And then you guys talked about your dream high school jobs, and you talked about your high school years, and a dynamic mother and son duo.
I want to tell you.
Talking about things. Life's crazy. You can't change it, but you can talk about it.
Oh,
He's
and you know
listening.
what? With that, my son, my friends, we're out.
All right.
Cheers.
Thank you
All right.
again for coming on.
Cheers.
Having us.
Thank you for watching. You want to tell everybody what they got to do, buddy?
Of course. Got a like, got a comment, got to subscribe. That's it. Those 3 simple steps. You'll be entered for another giveaway soon enough.
And that's a wrap.